Thank you for giving me your time. I'm excited to actually share with you how this kind of just started the homeowner seminar. I like to call it a homeowner seminar rather than a seller seminar, just because I've realized that more people, it's a little bit more relaxed for people to come to something called homeowners. They feel like it's very much a learning experience while they're having brunch. So I actually call it a free brunch and learn. So the postcards that I'll share with you show as free brunch and learn. When I believe it was Summit, yes, it was Summit where Maureen Folan talked about seller seminars, homeowner seminars. And so I kind of took her template and I said, well, I'm already starting this geographic farm. I've kind of been dabbing into the geographic farm, but I wasn't necessarily consistent at the time. And why wouldn't I create this homeowner seminar around the geographic farm? So now, aside from everything I was doing, which was the postcards, the door knocking, the calls, everything that I was doing in the geographic farm, now I can add another layer and do a homeowner seminar at the community library right across the street from the geo farm. So that's kind of how it started. And I said, okay, well, let's do it. So we started going through, and I'm going to share my screen, Yvonne. I have a really great team. I have an amazing admin. She's my operations manager. She pretty much does it all. And so we started putting together, if you coach with Yvonne, then you know it's all about standard operating procedures. So if we're starting something, then we know that we have to absolutely document and log how we're doing it, because that's the way to create an SOP, right? So we're doing that already. So the moment that we saw what Maureen was doing she's in a different market. So we wanted to really cater to our market, the people that we were going after, the sellers, the homeowners that we were going after, and then do everything around that. So we knew that doing it in the community library was a great idea. We got the cost for that. We wanted to reserve for pretty much the whole entire year. Oh, what happened there? We wanted to reserve for the whole entire year. So we got reservation for that. And we knew we had to put it on an Eventbrite, right? So the first thing that we did was create a link for a free event. It's all free, okay? And then I'm going to share with you guys, if Yvonne hasn't yet, we literally have standard operating procedures for everything. So you'll see.
So you sent them all to me last night. So I will be sending them all out with the recording.
Okay, great. Now it is a little overwhelming because literally we're super detailed enough so someone could take this and has never done it before and executes correctly. So that's the goal, right? So that's how detailed it is. So all the relevant information, how to create the Eventbrite, follow the SOP. The link also goes to the website, to social media, to e-newsletters that we send. There's a QR code that's created, and the link actually goes on yard signs. Let me show you how the yard sign looks like. So I have about 10 of these yard signs all throughout the farm. Okay. And they're literally right in front of someone's lawn. So that's taken us to get to know the neighbors, right? But also as we're door knocking, some of them who have attended the seminar are so happy to put this in their yard because they want more of their neighbors to attend. Okay. So that QR code takes you over to the Eventbrite link so someone can actually sign up. Okay.
Is that sign there always, or a week prior, or 2 weeks prior?
It's usually, since we're doing it monthly, I'm leaving there throughout the year. They don't mind having it, since we're doing it every month, because the QR code can change the link all the time. It's the same QR code, but we go on the back end and we can change it. Okay, so then we do direct mail pieces, right? So we're sending one really nice postcard a month. Now, here's the thing. We know that the formula that works best is 2 pieces a month. We know that with geographic farming. However, there's a lot of sweat equity that my team puts on, right? In order to also save cost, right? So we're not only our operating expenses are very low, which is awesome, which I love that. because I'm willing to do the work in terms of door knocking. And the way I see it is the more the neighbors, the more the neighborhood is seeing me, is seeing my team, the more they're just going to recognize that we're the experts, right? That we're the ones that are in the neighborhood. So when I have a listing in my farm, I'm putting up the open house signs, right? I'm doing a funny video that's like, I like when people scream my name, because anytime I'm putting the signs, I always have people that drive by, they're like, Jimmy, and it's usually the neighbors. So I love doing that, because now people start recognizing you in the neighborhood as like, wow, she's always working, right? She's always in the neighborhood. So that's why we just do one postcard a month, really nice postcard. And we're sending it out anytime between 2 to 3 weeks before the seminar. And this is a monthly thing. And I time it so that I know when a postcard goes out, I am door knocking a day or 2 days later after they've received it, right? Because now I can walk around with that postcard and go, I'm wondering if you received this. And that's kind of my opening, right, in terms of speaking with them. So the QR code is there on the postcard. The SOP, of course, it's all in what to include in the postcard, and I'll show you guys a couple samples. The first one actually that we did was this one. So the first one was this one, and it was in November of 2023. Now, I completely R&D'd it for Maureen. She had the same thing, right? She's over in Queens. Is it Coach Yvonne? She's in
Queens,
right?
New York.
Yeah, so she had this one. It said, "Oh, shift." It was great. People like recognized me right away. And this is the back of it. So that was the first one we ever sent. The first one, here are the results. The first one, we had 21 RSVPs, 21 people, and 14 showed up. Now, because we knew that, and because we knew that we were having a really great turnout on the first one, we just knew we were going to have a really great turnout. I got a photographer, I got a videographer to get as much footage as possible, right? Because now I'm like, I need footage that this was a success, that this was good. And so with that footage that we took, and I'll show you guys why, and I'll share this with you on another email. I break down the cost of everything and I track my results of everything. So pretty much the date of the seminar since we started, the RSVP, the attendees, the appointments I got, the listings we signed, and I'll go more into the whole listings because it's a big combination of all the layers. The cost, the first one that we ever did cost the most because we had photography and videography and we had to pay a room insurance. The postcard that we use, EDDMs, how many homes we're targeting. So we have it all, right? So we're able to calculate now ROI. Now, here's what happened on the first one. Let me just kind of show you the power of what happens after the first seminar. So this is the first seminar. They get this postcard. This is the back of the seminar, right? November 4th. You guys could see where it's at, the library. There's the QR code. And then I have all the topics that we're going to cover. What I would say is that if you guys are really committed to doing this, make sure you have a guest speaker that talks about something else, not just you speaking about real estate. One of the things that has been really great in the seminars is having a financial advisor. I have my financial advisor, and he just shares the cost of the food and drinks with me. Everything else I pay for. So the postcards, right? The room fee, but the food he covers as well. So I go half with that with him because he may get some clients, but that takes a little bit of work. So yeah, I would always say have someone there where he's speaking about tax implications. He's speaking about Prop 19, and he's speaking about just estate planning also.
I have a question about the library.
Sure.
Said you booked it for a year in advance.
Correct.
Is there a cost to that?
Yes. I booked it I got the insurance for the year for it. So that was pretty much the upfront. And then every single month I send them a check for their fee.
Which is, how much is that costing you from that?
Right here. So it's about 250 each time.
Okay,
And then the rest is the food.
perfect. Yeah, you've got it dialed in for price wise.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my ROI is insane.
Yeah.
Your promotion, you said you're 1,300 people you're sending out the card to. And how many are you knocking?
So the beginning was because we weren't doing EDDM. Then we realized that some of the people that were coming, I don't know why this light's going off, that some of the people that were coming were actually coming from a little bit of the other side of our geographic farm. So we were like, okay, it's going to cost us less and we're going to get to more homes, right? This is part of testing it. If we do EDDM, so then we switched to EDDM the beginning of this year. So it's costing us less and we're hitting more homes. So we're getting to 2,059. It's 3 of us in our sales team. We're door knocking twice a week, at least, sometimes 3 times a week. Yeah.
How many homes are you hitting a week with 3 of you?
Gosh. I mean, I want to, I mean, myself, I want to hit about 100, but for me, it's not so much how many homes I hit. For me, is having like at least 7 quality conversations, at least. Yeah. And some of the times, like it's happened where, like one of the listings that we signed was someone, and you'll see in the SOP, that didn't show up to the seminar. And so one of the things in the SOP is that if they're in the farm and they didn't show up, I'm literally going with the package to door knock them. Like, hey, I'm so sorry you didn't make it, but here's exactly what we went through. The next one is on this date. So now I'm speaking to them. One of those actually became a listing because I just showed up to their door.
Smart.
Yeah. So, after the first one was such a success that and when I say successes, we had a lot of attendees. I was able to sign 2 appointments. And since it was the first one, it's kind of like that trial, right? That you're trying to figure out how to get it right, what to like modify a little bit for the next ones. So you guys can see that we had the most attendance, the first one, and in April of this year. However, we've been pretty consistent with appointments. And that's why it's because we changed a little bit of the presentation, right? And so it was just a flow to go from, and you'll see my slides, it was a flow to go from what we were talking about to actually going, okay, it sounds like we need to schedule a discovery process meeting.
So you're asking for the order more.
Exactly. Because in my presentation, we go through the process of selling. And the first one is the discovery process part of it, which is literally a meeting between us, right? To find out your timeline, to find out your goals. So at the end of the presentation, at the end of the seminar, I'm going around and saying hi to everyone, right? Thanking them for being there. And they'll say something like, gosh, we have this and this and this on our minds. And they'll start saying things and I'll say, sounds like we need to schedule a discovery process meeting. And they'll just go, yes. And I'll just get my phone and schedule the appointment. So I think the flow's easier now because that's in the presentation. Now, another thing, and this is the part where like, you got to get it right in the beginning, right? You figure it out. One of the things, and I wrote it in my notes to share with you guys, one of the things that people talk about our seminars, because they're older. I mean, most of them are like older people in this neighborhood. They'll just say, she has freshly squeezed orange juice. I've heard so many people say that we serve freshly squeezed orange juice, and it's fancy. So they come and they're like, oh yeah, we hear that you served freshly squeezed orange juice. So anyway, I wrote that because I'm like, you know what? You got to have like a little wow factor where people are talking about it, whether it's something so simple like freshly squeezed orange juice, right? So we kept that. The first one that we did, I had a raffle, and we gave a raffle at the end, but everyone didn't really care so much about the raffle. They cared more about the freshly squeezed orange juice. So I removed the raffle prize, but I continue the orange juice. I just got more orange juice. That was it. So after the first one, this is what's cool. After the first one, we signed a listing, and I found it so it was just awesome. The whole trajectory, like the journey of this listing, which by the way, was also referred to Yvonne because these sellers purchased a property in Idaho and they attended our seminar. And when they attended our seminar, they were like, our fans, and we didn't even know it. They're like, Gia, we get your postcards. We saw that you sold this other house. And this was the first seminar that we ever created, right? So they were there. We sold their house and it was a record sale. And this was only like a month or two after they came to the seminar. And so we had to create this postcard, right? So we had to create the postcard of the whole entire timeline. And
have you gotten a good response on that postcard?
we got a great response of this postcard. Amazing response of this postcard. We had people show up to the seminar because of this postcard. I door knocked the most after this postcard because everyone knew Mike. Everyone knew Mike. So it was a thing. She was quiet. Everyone knew him. He was always outside. So when we were door knocking, we were like, hey, I'm wondering, have you heard about your neighbors? Right. And I had the postcard right in front of me. So they're like, oh yeah, Mike and Diane moved. I can't believe they moved to Idaho. And then it was just a whole conversation. And I mentioned to them that that the first thing that they did was come to the seminar. And that was able to really help them like gain clarity as to what to do next.
But it was a good 3 months before they actually pulled the trigger to list with you.
Correct.
So that's
So it
one of the
takes
things that
time.
everybody needs to realize in this. It's a long tail
Yeah.
type of process. So
Correct.
yeah, you're in it. And that's why the commitment of the 12 months of booking a place and all of that is really important part of this type of lead source.
Yeah. And I mean, and also doing all of the, I'll show you that first one, doing like Tom, we're all Tom Ferry clients, right? He talks about the lasagna. He talks about that all the time, like layering. It's not just sending the postcard. It's calling, it's sending, it's being on their door, it's door knocking, it's putting the yard signs. I mean, it's doing so much to layer it so that they're like, we know her team. It's the social media, it's the.
So where do you start? Like when we're looking at this wheel, like you start with the marketing, the postcard is the trigger.
Correct.
And then you're creating the marketing. And then, so walk us through how you have this set up as a wheel.
So Eventbrite is the first thing. This is like the first thing anybody has to do before everything else goes out because the QR code needs to be created, right? Everything needs to be there. Now, this is what we do in the farm. There are and this is why it gets a little bit overwhelming to create, to show you guys, because we want everyone from the farm to come to these homeowner seminars. But look at who else is getting our email marketing. Like our email marketing also goes to our database, right? So we have people coming that are our past clients, our SOI, they're coming. I had a gentleman from Irvine that showed up because he called me on the YouTube channel, from my YouTube channel. I spoke with him. I'm like, it sounds like our homeowner seminars would be really helpful for you. And then he showed up, you see? So it's like, and I sent them the link. So it's all the layering and it's so much to put together like in a linear way because it's just not like that. Our office is on Broadway in Long Beach. So it's like brick and mortar little office, but we have the QR code with a seminar right in front of the window, right? So people can also scan it. We've also had attendees like that. So it's just, you just got to do a lot of work to promote it. Because if you think about it, just the way a YouTube channel is, people are watching you. They're coming to you.
Yeah.
So imagine how much you're cutting of your own efforts into, now I don't have to call 100 people because I have 17 that are showing up to hear all this information, right? I don't have to now, call, get on the phone or circle dial as much because now I have all these people and viewers visiting my YouTube channel because I'm able to just send them a video about Prop 19 without having to talk about it so much. You see? So it's like, it sounds like you need to watch this video and I send it to them. It's such a big layer. And at the homeowner seminar, I'm letting them know we have this YouTube channel. You guys got to go subscribe for way more information. So it's a lot of layering. I'll show you actually the second postcard too, briefly, because so I had the photographer and videographer come, right? That was the first one that we did. That's at the library. Look at that. I even have like the little kids rug. So it doesn't matter where you do it. People are going to show up. It's free. Okay. We had at the end of the first presentation, I asked them, was this helpful? And everyone was like, yes, absolutely. I'm like, please write a Google review. This is going to help more homeowners like yourself come and then just get a lot of clarity with all the topics because there's a lot of noise out there. So this was the next postcard that we sent to the farm because we actually had a homeowner write a Google review about how great the seminar was, right? So now it's like we took it in quotes, what they said, boom, that goes out to the farm. Sign up for our next one. And that was right. We sent it right after the first one. Okay. All right. SOP. So there are template emails that I've included there for you guys because you'll see in the SOP, if there's an email that goes out before the event, and then there's an email that goes out after the event, if they attended and if also they did not attend. So that's also put in there to make sure that they can now sign up for the next one.
Do you think that using the library versus, say, one of your listings has them more relaxed, that you're not trying to sell them something?
Yeah, especially because it's like free brunch and learn, you know?
Yeah.
And now the people are also telling their neighbors like, oh, we went to this brunch and learn at the library. They just walked over across the street. They didn't have to walk far.
Right.
So yeah, it was a whole lot more relaxed environment for sure.
And you know, Gia, I think, you know, people see you in the neighborhood all the time. It's kind of like when, you know, I started, you know, the only thing we could do was farm door to door. So pretty soon they don't see you as salesy. They just see you as, you know, the neighborhood girl who's working hard all the time. And
exactly. You know, yeah. I'm with my baseball cap. You know, I have my baseball cap. I'm putting the signs up in the morning, early in the morning. Sometimes I'll do an open house. And if it's in my farm, I will do it in the afternoon. I'll do it at different times because I want the people to see me, you know, so it's very strategic. Also, I know a lot of the neighbors there. I know everybody. So we just got to do more stuff in there.
So walk us through the SOP.
Okay. All right. It's a lot.
It is. Watch me scroll. It's very detailed. You guys are going to have a step-by-step process. You will not have to overthink it.
You can literally copy all of this. I'm always like, you know, modifying it to filling in the gaps. If we feel like there is one thing that we needed to add that we didn't and it's relevant, we add it. But it's pretty much everything. It's how to do it all, where to go for the reservation, the person, like everything. And I'll share something that happened with you since, you know, the library, right? I think it was our May event. No, not our May event. It was our February event where they call us, the library calls us and says, we are so sorry. We realized that we are closed on that Saturday. I don't remember which month it was, but we're so sorry. We cannot do it on that Saturday. And I'm like, you can't do it on that Saturday. What do you mean? I already sent postcards, you know, thousands of postcards. I'm door knocking. I'm doing everything. And we're so sorry. We didn't realize we're going to be closed. We can't hold it. So I called the city. I literally got in their faces. And they went and they opened it on a Saturday for me because I'm like, how are you going to make this right? Like, you're going to have to pay me for everything I've spent, you know? So making sure I share that with you guys to make sure that when you're booking it, you're very mindful as the dates. And then you never know who you're speaking with, right? You may be really detailed, but the person that's trying to do the booking, if you're booking all this time in advance, may not be as detailed. So make sure you're like, checking the calendar with them, you know, and then also checking if there's something happening in that neighborhood around that day, because now there's going to be, you know, impact in parking or whatever it is that's happening. I'm always trying to check that too. But all the dates are now, let there be light. No, all the dates are now there on the calendar. So you guys can see, like, I have
calendar.
I have something called a big ass calendar. It's literally the 365 dates, all of it here. So I have like my homeowner seminars in yellow. I run, so my races are on there, but it's like, I have it on there. I know when my homeowner seminars are.
So pre-planning, you guys got
Pre-planning.
that. She's got it all broken down here. Eventbrite link. So
How to do it.
that's a must, you said.
Yep.
And then, so let's talk about the Eventbrite link.
Sure.
So it says that it tells you how to set up an Eventbrite.
Yep.
But you are sending this to, how are you getting the Eventbrite out to that 2,065 people you're mailing to?
The QR code is on the postcard.
So that's where it's tied to the postcard. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. The QR code's on the postcard. The QR code to the Eventbrite link is on the yard signs.
Okay.
Right.
So that's driving. The yard signs are driving to the Eventbrite link as well.
Exactly. It's on my link tree on social media.
Do you also put it under events in Facebook events for the local area?
Yep. It's on Facebook events. I mean, it's everywhere. It's on the window. It's in local shops around my farm also. So after I door knock every Tuesday, I go to like a local restaurant there and they love me. So I like leave a bunch of like little flyers and people have signed up from there. So just
Do you have to change the QR code every postcard because you have to update the Eventbrite, or do you just leave the same QR code
it's the
and
same.
then just change the Eventbrite date and time?
Correct. Yeah. It's the same QR code. I don't have to change the QR code.
Okay, so the link is fine, and when you change the Eventbrite stuff, it doesn't affect the link.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So that happens. And then, so the QR code, we just try to put it everywhere. If I'm having an open house, the postcards are there with the QR code. They're always there. So people are like, oh, it has the seminars.
So then we get down here, and then so that happens automatically, and it's automatically just constant. And then you have 2 to 3 weeks before the event. You start designing the new postcard that you're going to use. You do the flyers. When receiving RSVPs through Eventbrite, you enter it into Follow Up Boss. Have you set up a Zap where the Eventbrite automatically dumps it into Follow Up Boss and tags it?
She's looking into that. Yeah. We were looking at a company that was doing that, but not all the information is not like we wanted it saved. So it just feels like even when we have that step, it still creates another step for us because we still got to go in there and, and because it hasn't grown to be, it hasn't grown to be like a lot of people that is not manageable. So right now we're still, as they come in, I have her like pulling property profiles right away.
Okay. So that's, is that on this SOP?
Right there.
Okay. So, so basically when
receiving RSVP, so you'll see that it says through Eventbrite, enter the information of the person to follow up boss, cross-reference, pull the property profile. She enters the property profile into follow-up boss. I call to thank them. I mean, this just happens. Like this is automatic.
You guys know that like you're using the document attachment in the right-hand side of follow-up boss. You're attaching the profile to that person's person's contact.
Awesome.
Hey, Gia, do you email them the property profile so they'll have it before they come to the meeting?
No.
Do you email it?
Nothing.
No.
Nothing. This is nothing about real estate in the beginning, right? If they feel like there's anything that I'm going to talk about their specific property, they're going to get scared off. Like I already know. So this is something for them to go, you are brunching and learning, like you are learning. So the most I do when I call them is I thank them for signing up and I'm very much looking forward to meeting them. So it kind of just adds that like, oh, now I really got to go. I've had people where I show up at their door and they're like, and I have my postcard and it said like, oh, shift. And I'm like, that's me. Are you coming? So I've had that and they're like, they're amazed that I'm at the door knocking them.
Then you put the yard signs out. Okay. Yep. Now, how do you get away with that? In Long Beach still allows you to put signs out and leave them there for a week or two at a time?
It's in someone's home. So I'm asking for permission.
Very good. Good tip. So
I'm asking for permission. And a lot of the times, so how, let's say, there's someone's yard, but then there's the other little yard right on the other side of the sidewalk. So anybody usually can put a sign there and it's public property. I like to go and ask the neighbors if it's okay. And most of them will say, nobody ever asks that.
They just do it.
They just do it because it's public property. And I'm like,
these signs are, what are they? They're the smaller ones that look like almost like a.
They're like open house signs. They're
Like a political thing? Oh.
Like a full rectangle open house sign. Mm-hmm.
Open house sign, and then the little 2 sticks, and then
Correct.
you just,
Yes.
okay, corrugated. Okay, and you have them all printed and
all printed, and there's 10 all throughout.
10. Okay, so then after that brunch, you pull them up, and then you go out and put them back up again.
It depends if I put them, if I take them out or not. Depends how far the next seminar is. So I kind of time it because depending on the dates that we have seminars that have been as close to 2 weeks apart. Other ones have been a lot longer. So if it's like not that long apart, I just leave them. If it's longer, then sometimes I'll remove them and put them back. But it also depends because I just like to leave them. If the homeowner's okay with it, I'll leave them because people are just walking their dogs and seeing them all the time.
Cool. 2 days before the event, you get all the reading, reading the guest handouts prepared, order food and drink.
All my marketing, yes. All marketing does that.
Day of seminar, pick up food and coffee. So the food is fresh squeezed orange juice, coffee, donuts. I mean,
are you ready? Okay, this is hilarious. The first one that we did was the priciest one. We went all out on the first one.
A banquet.
Go ahead.
A banquet.
Yeah, we did. We literally went all out. We were like, because we also wanted the footage, right? But we realized that the people that we were getting, like, they didn't really care. Like, they did. It was nice. But for them, it was like that we had anything was great to them, right? That we just had like a whole like table of food. So, and then we fed them after the seminar. We brought Jersey mics so they can stick around even more, right? And it worked. So the next one, we're like, let's do the same thing. Then we realized that in the second one, not everybody took Jersey mics. Not everybody wanted the sandwiches. Right. So we're like, well, let's try something else. If we can keep costs down and still have the same turnout, then I'm just going to do that. And then the next one, we were going to the bakery that's in the farm. And the next one, I'm like, you know what? We'll just buy coffee from them to support. But I'll go and get like pan dulce from the Mexican market because it looks pretty. And I got a lot of pan dulce, and then I got some little vegan options, and it looked great and people loved it. But I have a lot of freshly squeezed orange juice.
It's all about the orange juice.
I'm just sticking to that. Yep.
Okay. You're going to have to invest in a juicing machine, an orange.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, but I used to have a small one, a little pitcher, and now I have like the big one with like, and it looks great when people walk in.
Now, this is the most important part, in my opinion, is after the event.
Yes.
And is what you do after the event. So you write in the Follow Boss notes of each contact, whether they attended or not. For people who attended, the Monday after the seminar, Gia and Carrie will create a video to go into the thank you email. So you're doing an actual video thank you.
Yeah, and it used to be Carrie and I, we did a couple together, and then it was hard for him to come, so I do it, and it turns out to be the same way. So I just do
on your cell phone.
On my cell phone, and I send it to them. I email it to them. Yes.
And send out the email through Follow Boss. Add the tag Plaza newsletter to their Follow Boss contact. Each attendee will receive a quarterly mailed newsletter because now they've already opted into you. They are now in your sphere, and they're going to be nurtured forever. And then for the people who did not attend, you create the video, you send it to them via Follow Boss. And then you also said, which is not in here, you actually take the package to them.
If in the farm, and I have her adding that. If they're in the farm, absolutely, I will do that. Yes.
Okay. And then Follow Boss tags used for seminar, seller seminar, RSVP, attended seller seminar, and didn't attend seminar.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, we're always adding more to it, but I feel like that's like somebody could pick that up and then just do it, right? Because that's what Andrea does.
The other thing that I thought was really great for you guys is that she is giving you the, where is it?
The email templates.
The email templates. I mean, all you have to do is build these into Follow Bots and make them templates and then send them out as you go.
And I do include the video with them. I definitely include a video with them.
It says insert video.
For anyone that wants to do this, well, you got to know that you got to be consistent with it. Like you have to be committed and consistent. If you're not committed and consistent and then you start and then, because let's say you don't have any RSVPs, you cancel it, don't ever do that. people will show up at the last minute. They will. And they'll know you're consistent, and I've had people where I've had a day where I only had a few people that showed up, but then other people came in because they were bringing books back with their kids, right? And they're like, oh, you have a seminar here, and they're in the farm. So don't ever, just because you don't have a lot of signups, don't ever think that you have to cancel. You just put your event, even if no one shows up.
The consistency is what I am like constantly reiterating to everybody. And how strategic, she saw Marines, and now Marines, since I've coached Marine in the past, Marines is interesting when you saw her seller seminar, but she's been mailing hundreds of thousands of postcards for years. Mm-hmm. So she spends like $250,000 on mailers in her farm in like six or seven zip codes. So when she did her seller seminar, it was kind of already like an automatic. It was like the seller seminar was the add-on to another layer to what she was doing geographically farming. Whereas Gia flipped the script on that and said, wait a minute, how about I do a seller seminar and then do the layering effect in the farm from there. So again, there's no wrong way, except if you're just not consistent.
Just know nothing's linear. I keep learning that, right? Nothing's linear. It's not like this comes from Instagram. A lot of it is the layering. I'm going to leave you guys with the story because I'm blown away by this. I was nurturing a for sale by owner for the last 5 years. She was trying to sell a property in Long Beach that was closer to my office. And that was the one that I went after for sale by owner. She never sold it. She kept it. But when we pulled all her property profile, we realized that her primary home is in our farm. So she's been getting the postcards. She's been seeing everything we do. She actually walked into one of the open houses that we had. I have her listing right now. We're pending, but because we're doing such a great job right now with that listing, I just signed my biggest listing to date ever in my career. That is her building in Long Beach by the beach. And that literally came from just being consistent, right? So that's why I mean, it's layers. She was like, you do homeowner seminars in the farm. I'm seeing everything you're doing. So I share that with you guys because whenever you think that that it's not impacting somebody or that they're not watching, they're watching. You're being interviewed every second of the day on social media, on them seeing you in the streets, on the postcards, on you door knocking. They are seeing what you're doing. So just keep doing it.
That's why YouTube is so powerful, because they're interviewing you for 6 months or a year. And then when they call, I'll never forget what Ken Pozek said. He said that YouTube leads are way hotter than you'll ever get out of a Zillow lead. And because they already know they're going to work with you. There isn't even a question in their mind. So that's exactly what you're doing. And don't forget to tell them that she brought you that 8-unit building.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one. That's the big one.
You beat out 2 commercial guys for it.
Oh, yeah. I'm humbled about that. Yeah.
So, thank you, Gia.